Hey, what's up guys? I'm Theo Joe. I'm here at E3. I'm in the hotel room right now, but I got back from the Expo Hall, and this video is going to be covering the Xbox Microsoft booth, one of the three major ones. You got Sony, of course, Nintendo, and Xbox. This was probably the most busy booth, and it was tough to get some shots, but I endured, and I think you guys are going to find this pretty interesting. I'm sure you guys saw a lot of the press conferences, so I'm not going to go over too much detail into the games, just kind of focus on what the booth was like, what kind of stuff you could see, almost like you were really there if you didn't get a chance to attend. So it should be pretty fun. And I should point out that this video is actually sponsored by my Twitch channel. So I figure that this is a good time to say that if you like video games, I'm thinking about doing more streaming on Twitch. So after I get back from E3, go check it out, twitch.tv/TheoJoe. Should be a fun time. If enough people enjoy it, maybe I'll start doing it regularly. So now let's get into what we saw at the Xbox booth. Now I will say this, if you didn't get a chance to attend, you're not really missing that much, because even if you were here, you wouldn't have really had a chance to even play any of the games because, as I said, it was so busy. The Xbox booth was the most busy one there. It was right near the main entrance to the South Expo Hall. Packed. There's people flooding in constantly. You could barely move, but regardless, there was still plenty of cool stuff to see. So in general, there was a lot of game demos set up around the place where you could try if you were willing to wait in line for a while. They had some displays set up for the games. They had a live streaming show they were doing right in the middle of the booth. So lots of cameras. They had Major Nelson there, if you guys know him. And one of the main things they were showing off, of course, was the Xbox One X. So they had one of the units on display right in the beginning, so you could see that. And I will say this thing looks really nice. I'm sure you've seen the videos of it, but in person it looks like a really sleek matte black finish. It looks really smooth. I don't know how to describe why it looks better than the other ones, but really nice. Of course, you can see all the I/O ports on it. But maybe one of the coolest things was they had sort of an exploded view of the Xbox One S where they had all the different components separated out, which was really awesome. You could see each individual part, how it's put together, and how they, I guess, fit everything in. You get a better idea. So one notable thing you can check out is the vapor chamber. I talked about this in a previous video. So this is actually a special type of cooling unit that's really only reserved for high-end GPUs, servers, that sort of thing. You really don't ever see this in a console, and you can see how low of a form factor it is. So that's pretty neat that they're putting such high-end cooling, and they really have to. If you look at the system on chip, which is the GPU and CPU combined on the motherboard, and then the memory units around it. And that thing is tiny, and that is the GPU and the CPU in one. You think about a GPU, it's a huge giant card, and meanwhile, they put 6 teraflops on one little chip that includes the CPU. It's pretty insane. I thought this was pretty awesome to see just how compact this whole unit is. So I mean, it is really impressive, regardless if you're, a console fanboy, PC fanboy. This is interesting tech, and really cool that they showed you how it works. And another really neat thing I noticed is when they were doing the game demos, they weren't really playing on regular Xboxes. I didn't know what I was looking at, and then I noticed that they were probably dev kits. So you could tell that they look completely different from regular Xbox. I'm assuming they're Xbox One X dev kits. They have some additional buttons on the front. I thought that would just be a cool little thing that maybe not a lot of people are talking about, but looked pretty neat. So now why don't we go over the different games they had for demos. First of all, there was Forza 7, which was a big example they were using constantly with the Xbox One S, where, it's 4K, constant 60 FPS. They also showed off Crackdown 3. Didn't really get a chance to watch this too long. It looked like they were doing some sort of death match, but it looked pretty fast-paced and fun. Then there was Super Lucky's Tale. So you may know Lucky's Tale, which was an Oculus launch title with the VR, but now you don't have to have VR. It's just going to be a standalone game. I don't know if I'm too excited about this. I mean, even the VR version was kind of fun, but it was extremely casual, almost like a game that you just play, if you're really bored, have nothing better to do. So I don't know, I guess a lot of people like it, but I don't know, it's neat, but not super exciting. Another one of the big titles they were showing off was Assassin's Creed Origins. They just had the alpha demo going, so you can kind of get an idea of what that looked like. I don't know if there was any specific mission they were doing, but I mean, it looked pretty cool. I'm not super familiar with all the Assassin's Creed, but I guess you have a better idea if you watched the press conference, and this is what it looks like in the gameplay. Then they had Minecraft, which, I mean, alright, Minecraft, pretty boring, but I think the one interesting thing about it is that they actually had Xbox players facing off with PC players, I don't know about facing off, but playing together in the same server. So that's pretty interesting technology. You know, we've had a lot of games where they've tried that, didn't really work out one way or another, but I think with Minecraft, you know, it's not super competitive exactly. So you do have that ability to put PC gamers and Xbox gamers in the same server, and it seemed to be working out. So I'm hoping that they'll maybe integrate that into other games as well if it works. And finally, I think the most notable one is Sea of Thieves, which is a co-op pirate game, and it looks kind of cartoony but actually extremely fun. This was definitely a spotlight of the booth. They had a huge, large display for Sea of Thieves, like with pirates and that sort of thing, statues or whatever. And you could see them playing. They seem to be doing some sort of exploration on an island. So, of course, you're going to be able to sail around on a ship, control it with your friends playing with you. And in this case, they were searching for some sort of buried treasure. So they had a map and instructions, oh, go this many paces this way. I think they found it at one point, so that was pretty cool. And other demos I've seen of this game looked extremely fun and funny as well. So I'm pretty excited about this game. Probably gonna try and get a demo and play this myself. It was such a long line that I wasn't able to wait, but we'll see if I can do that and talk about it later. Besides the games, they had some other stuff set up around the booth. For example, they had like a green screen where you get a picture taken or video of some Sea of Thieves background where it would like blow wind in your face and then put you in front of the game or whatever, so that was pretty neat. They also had a Forza 7 racing setup where you could actually sit in the chair and do a whole thing. That was pretty awesome, looked pretty fun for those that were doing it. I'm not exactly an avid racer, so I probably would be terrible at it, but I'm sure that people who are popular with racing games got a kick out of it. They also had like a small setup for Windows gaming. That didn't really seem like a big deal, but I thought I'd mention it. They also had some crazy PC cases though. I mean, look at these. These are insane, custom built. They look like engines or something. A bit overkill, obviously just for show, but still pretty fun nonetheless. So you can check that out. They had the motherboards sticking out, water cooling. Really awesome. I've never seen anything like this. So this was definitely an eye catcher. And finally, we could talk about another little area they had, the Xbox Design Lab, where they were letting people kind of design their own controllers with different color schemes. They had a few on display and a few that were E3 exclusives, apparently, that you could buy. So I thought that was pretty neat. I didn't really get a chance to go in there, of course, because it was too packed. Very unfortunate, but I got to see whatever designs they had out anyway, which was pretty neat. I didn't really feel like buying a new controller, so it wouldn't have really mattered. So anyway, that's pretty much all they had. A lot of cool stuff set up. Nothing majorly exciting, nothing groundbreaking. Honestly, if you saw the press conferences, that was probably more exciting than the booth, but I thought you guys would like to get a view from the inside. So let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you want, you can give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. If you want to subscribe, I make new videos several times a week. This week, probably more often, because I still got to make videos about the Sony booth, Nintendo booth, and then maybe just a general E3 video in the future as well. So you can look forward to those. So again, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. So as usual, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.